All right, hello everybody. We are here outside of the DC. What is this called? The correctional facility. And we're here with Micki. Micki, could you say hello and kind of
Hi.
walk us through where you've been in the past 4 years?
Well, for 902 days, we've been right on the other side, holding a candlelight vigil every night for 902 days, from 7 to 9. And the men still sing the national anthem every day. They call out, and we sing with them. So today, hopefully, will be. Hopefully, yesterday was our last vigil, and these guys will come out before 9 o'clock tonight.
And so, walk us back if you can. 4 years ago, like how did you become a part of this story, and how have you changed in the years since?
Well, I was living in San Diego, and my daughter Ashli Babbitt came to a Trump rally and came home in a box, and that changed my life. It changed my family's life. Ashli was killed by a dirty police officer that should have been fired years ago. And then the narrative began. Ashli was a four-time deployed United States Air Force veteran, and she had every right to exercise her First Amendment. And there were so many days I spent worried about her when she was in the Middle East. To have her come home and be killed by our own government is just a horror that you can only imagine. Or I hope you can't imagine it, actually. But I think that today, if these guys get out of here, it will absolutely be Ashli Babbitt's victory, and I think it'll be the American people's victory, because these men were there to protest a stolen election, and the cops absolutely abused their authority, and I think that their sentences have been excessive, their charges have been excessive, and I think that it's time for them to come out and be able to move on with their lives.
And today is the inauguration day. It's the end of a Biden era.
Yeah, thank God.
And it's the beginning of a Trump era. So first off, any thoughts on any of the pardons that have gone out from Biden to his people? And then let's start with that one, because there's a second part to that.
I think President Biden has proven himself to be one of the worst presidents in American history, if not the worst president in American history. And his pardons on the way out the door, I think, should be overturned, because if he's not competent enough to stand trial himself or to answer for his own actions himself, then he absolutely cannot run a country and provide all these preemptive pardons that he's provided to the January 6th committee and the police officers that have testified. I just don't think he's cognitively aware enough to do these things. So it would be nice to know who's been running the country for the last 4 years.
That is a compelling point. I've seen a lot of people questioning very vividly, boldly, and loudly in the past couple of weeks. The J6 committee in particular. I mean, they brought in Hollywood producers to change audio. They, barred
And
Republicans from
never
defending the other side.
Absolutely.
They deleted their evidence. I mean, what about that? Because
And then,
if that information really came out, it would provide a full and honest detail of what went down.
Well, that's the last thing they want, because that they accomplished their mission that day, but what they didn't count on was the spirit of the American people to keep pushing for the truth. And they teased us with that, where they're going to release the 44,000 hours of footage that we never have seen. Tucker gave us a small portion of the benign stuff, but there's enough crowdsourced video that we can show what happened that day. The problem is these men aren't allowed to use it in court. That there's only one side presented in court. It's very much collusion between the judges, the prosecution, and the FBI. So, American citizens don't stand a chance against the sheer might of the United States government.
Well, with new people coming in, Kash Patel
Oh, yeah.
and Tulsi, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
what do you anticipate? Because we already saw Tulsi starting to walk a few things back about some of the tactics. Well, I don't know. I was kind of against this, but now that I understand what the job is, maybe we should have these spy tools at our disposal. But, I mean, there's still an optimism switching, right? Like, what do you, with Kash, Tulsi, and a new regime in town, do you expect accountability? Do you expect a clean house? Do you expect destroying departments and rebuilding them, or just more of the same?
I do. I expect a whole new world right now. I expect destroying departments and rebuilding them. I think that we'll have some accountability, but, unfortunately, in the political arena, sometimes favors beget favors, and not everybody gets swept up like they're supposed to. But I think that it'll be a good start to moving forward and to restructure some of our government and maybe eliminate some of the waste and maybe focus on our own citizens instead of continuing to pour laundering money into Ukraine and the things that they've been doing with it. People go go to Congress and they go in average citizens and they come out billionaires. I think that there needs to be a stop to that. I think if the President of the United States can only serve 8 years, then there absolutely should be term limits on congressional members. Dianne Feinstein stayed making decisions for the American people when she had signed her power of attorney over because she couldn't make decisions for herself. That's got to stop. That's got to stop.
And by the way, do we have an official status on any of the releases, any of the pardons? We're still awaiting word.
Mainstream media is reporting it should happen today, but they lied to us before. So I don't know. We're going to sit here and wait and see what happens for now and go from there.
Okay.
We're winging it.
We're all kind of winging it as a nation.
Right. That's right.
And we always have been.
More or less.
And it's just, it's a never-ending push and pull, a tug of...
Well, I think President Trump will be a president for all American citizens if people.
You're hopeful.
I am, but and like I've said before, sometimes these interviews you say the same things over and over again. But I think that government, as a two-party system, it divides us by example.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you. The Democrats can't agree with the Republicans, and the Republicans can't agree with the Democrats, and they have committee hearings. They call witnesses in front of them. They don't listen to those witnesses. They don't listen to each other. They absolutely act like children in the chambers of Congress. And so I think that, they divide us by example. Absolutely do.
In the example right now, we're kind of wondering, is it going to be a blanket pardon for all? Is it going to be for a select group of people? Do you have a thought on that? If certain... Because they'll say there was a smaller percentage of people that committed some seriously violent acts that day, which are far different from someone taking a self-guided tour through velvet ropes taking selfies.
Right.
Do you have any thoughts on that?
It's also different that American citizens be in charge with assault because they're being hit in the head with batons and they put their hands up, or because they put their hand on a rail that touches somebody that touches somebody that touches somebody else. So, assaults are subjective in the Jan 6 arena. There's people have been charged with assaults when there's no named victims. These are the things we need to look at. We need to look at the fact that, again, it was the gun owners of America that showed up that day, and the only gun used that day was the one that was used to kill my daughter. American citizens did not show up at the Capitol to overtake the government with flagpoles and water bottles.
Yeah, you feel like the NRA members of the Republican Party, if they had something stronger to say, they would have said it. It was a protest that got a little spicy.
Right.
Mostly peaceful protest, as CNN described them the whole 2020.
Yeah, and who started the violence? We could look at that too. We could look at
chucking the canisters
at people that were praying. To me, that's a violent act precipitated by the police. So if we're going to hold American citizens accountable and sentence them to decades in prison, then let's look at our police officers that are supposed to be held to a higher standard than your average citizen, and yet they're not. You look at the police shooting at Ashli, and again, Michael Byrd had a disciplinary record that goes back decades, and he should have been. It would have gotten him fired from any other police department in this country.
From pure corruption or the DEI angle? I mean, it's all speculative, but yeah, there was a laundry list of problems.
There was a laundry list of problems with him, and it should have been not to mention some of his disciplinary records were lost.
Air quote lost?
No, lost. Oh, yes, exactly. And there had to be a lot of digging to get the ones that we do have.
And so, what is his case?
Thank God for Judicial Watch for digging hard enough to find them.
And so, is Byrd? Did he got a pardon, or he did?
No,
was he a part of it, or no?
No, he's been promoted. He's been financially rewarded. He's been exonerated, but I don't know really if he's on the list of people to pardon or not.
And I don't know if double jeopardy, because they didn't charge him ever, so
never
can't be. But
they never even investigated him.
But they investigated Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah.
They investigated Daniel Penny.
Yeah.
Put him through hell and back for just trying to defend themselves.
President Trump.
Yeah. Did you have any thoughts? Did you watch the inauguration today?
I did.
Did you have any thoughts with seeing him in the midst of all the remaining presidents? Did that elicit anything for you? the chummy nature of
people looking uncomfortable. I did see a little pleasant exchange between him and Biden that surprised me, but I think right now he probably sees Joe Biden as a doddering old man. Because he didn't look like he was all there. At one point I thought he might have been napping. And Kamala just looked like a sour bitch.
I heard some people 2 days ago at one of the protests out at the park asking who do you think should lead the party? Who should lead the Democrat Party? Some people said Kamala. I couldn't believe
still
it.
Say it. And it's unfortunate that she may be the best they have. That's a sad day right there.
There's Gavin Newsom, but as a former resident of California, I mean, it's obvious that his chances sort of went up in flames. Literally.
Well, I hope that's what finally. I'm from California as well, and I hope that is finally what opens their eyes.
Yeah, I spent several years over there, and I'll always love the place. I hate that they can't manage it properly. They don't take care of the violent, crazy people.
They take care of the elitists. California is a very elitist state.
But the weird thing about Palisades was that was not taken care of, and that's some of the richest real estate on the planet.
Yeah, absolutely.
So even they were susceptible.
Yeah.
So go
But
figure.
fire is something that can get out of control so easily.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when your fire hydrants don't have water and your reservoirs are blocked up and your fire trucks aren't there and your weeds aren't cleared and your forest isn't managed, it's just a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, and I'm still waiting to hear what exactly caused it. I haven't heard it. Was it arson?
Some people say arson. I've also seen some footage, if you want to fall all the way down the rabbit hole, of things shooting through the fire to cause another fire, and little things coming from the sky that we don't know what those were.
Yeah, some of those radar and weather manipulation is a thing that is out there as a topic.
Yeah.
It's been worked on for a while.
We residents in North Carolina about that.
We were there in October, I think, and we did a documentary. We went to Southern Virginia, Tennessee, into North Carolina, and I mean the destruction is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But billions of dollars are going to foreign countries most people can't point to on a map.
Right.
It's just a completely upside down priority list.
I gotta excuse myself for a second. My phone is ringing.
Sure thing. Any place you want people to get more information, a website or anything?
You can go to 4ashli.com. There's lots of information. The number 4, ashli.com. There are links to Stand in the Gap, to Patriot Mail Project, to stophate.com, and various other resources where you can find information about these people.
All right, Micki, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.